Tensions remain high in India's northern Union territory of Ladakh after a wave of violent protests left several people dead and dozens injured, prompting authorities to impose a strict curfew and deploy heavy security patrols across key districts. The unrest, which broke out earlier this week, has shaken the remote Himalayan region, highlighting deep-seated grievances among locals over political representation, resource allocation, and alleged neglect by the central government in New Delhi. According to officials, protests erupted following a demonstration that turned violent in Leh, the region's largest town, after local activist groups demanded greater autonomy and stronger constitutional safeguards for Ladakh. Demonstrators accused the government of sidelining Ladakhi voices in decisions over land rights, cultural preservation, and environmental protection. The immediate trigger, however, appeared to be the government's refusal to grant statehood and inclusion under the 6th schedule of the Indian Constitution, which provides special protections to tribal communities. Eyewitnesses reported that thousands of people gathered in Leh's main square on Tuesday, chanting slogans and waving banners. Tensions escalated when security forces attempted to disperse the crowd after some protesters allegedly hurled stones at government buildings. In the ensuing clashes, police fired tear gas and baton-charged demonstrators. Local hospitals later confirmed multiple casualties, sparking anger and grief across Ladakh. Authorities moved swiftly to impose a round-the-clock curfew in Leh, Kargil, and several surrounding areas, suspending mobile internet and restricting movement. Armored vehicles and heavily armed paramilitary forces have since been patrolling deserted streets, enforcing the ban on public gatherings. Senior police officials urged residents to remain indoors, warning that any attempt to defy the curfew would be met with firm action. "We appeal to the people of Ladakh to maintain peace. The administration is committed to addressing their concerns through dialogue, but violence cannot be tolerated," said Lieutenant Governor B.D. Mishra in a televised address. He also confirmed that talks were underway with local representatives, though protest leaders insisted that only concrete assurances of statehood and constitutional safeguards would calm the situation. The unrest in Ladakh comes against the backdrop of long-standing regional tensions that have simmered since 2019, when the Indian government revoked Article 370 of the Constitution and bifurcated the former state of Jammu and Kashmir into two union territories, Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. While the move was hailed by some as a step toward better governance, many Ladakhis have since complained of political marginalization and unchecked outside influence in land and development projects. Local leaders say the protests are not only about political representation but also about the preservation of Ladakh's fragile ecosystem and unique cultural identity. "Our people feel abandoned. We want development, but not at the cost of our traditions, environment, and rights. The government must listen before it is too late," said Sonam Wangchuk, a prominent environmental activist and one of the movement's leading voices. The violence has drawn concern from opposition parties in India, with several leaders criticizing the central government's handling of Ladakh's demands. Human rights groups have also called for restraint, urging authorities to avoid excessive force against civilians and instead open channels of negotiation. As night falls in Ladakh, the region remains under tight security lockdown. Empty markets, shuttered schools, and deserted roads underscore the deep unease gripping the territory. For many residents, the immediate priority is survival under curfew, but the larger questions of statehood, identity, and autonomy loom ever larger in the minds of Ladakhis. Unless the government and protest leaders find a path to dialogue, the Himalayan frontier could remain on edge for weeks to come.